Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a bit different video than my previous ones, but I want to start sharing a little bit more about myself, my personal journey, who I am, where I come from, and all these things, but maybe in a later video. I want to talk about dating in your 50s. So last year, 2023, I turned 50 in November. I didn't feel any different, honestly. I mean, I'm to a point of my life that I feel really content and happy. For me, happiness equals being content, not constantly on a cloud nine. And also happiness for me means that I'm in touch with my emotions. I can work through my emotions, all the array of emotions. So I turned 50 in November, and I was seeing someone for almost 11 months then. And I already knew that we kind of want a different future, and we have very different values on certain aspects that were major in life. Just the point of view in life of life itself was very different. Goals we wanted in the future was different, and also the relationship to money. And for me, I wasn't ready to break up, but I knew that it will come a point that I have to do that because he would not be the person to do that. And so I gave myself a little more time just to make sure that that's exactly what I want. And really, not exactly what I want, because who wants to break up? Nobody wants to break up. But I wanted to just be sure because there were feelings involved and emotions. So I just didn't want to go on a whim. And so a few months later, we were already dating for 14 months. I decided that if I stay, I'll be wasting my time. And let's face it, when you're 50, we already lived more life than we would live. And had I been like 20, probably I wouldn't break it up because we had very good moments. We got along. But at age 50, even if you're like 30, probably, of course, if you're like 30 and you want kids, time is also important. But I already have a child, so that is not what I want. But at age 50, I want to find a lifelong partner that we look in the same direction. And the major values are there. So I decided to break up. I didn't give myself a specific timeline to when I'll be healed, but I knew I wasn't ready for the next relationship. So I didn't even sign up for any dating apps. However, I decided to go back and see a therapist. I had a therapist many, many years ago, and maybe I'll share on another video my experience. When I was in acting school, I was 27 in one of the classes. She mandated us to go see a therapist so we can get to know ourselves. And she was a strong believer that therapy really helps you get to know yourself, and it helps you with your emotions and be in touch with them. So as an actor, you can have a toolbox to access them. I did not really like it all that much. Honestly, 27, it was just like me talking, and then she kept saying, "And how that makes you feel?" And I was like, I have no idea. I was all my life not in touch with my emotions and kept running away from them. So I had no idea what I was feeling. But anyways, now that I broke up in March this year, beginning of March 2024, I broke up with this person, and I decided, you know what? I want to try again. I just had that urge. I want to try again. I'm going to do it. So I found a really great therapist, and it was totally different experience than I had before. And the funny thing is, I had therapists at the same time now because I liked both of them and I couldn't decide. And they were very different. So I was for a month with 2 therapists, which was funny, but I loved it. And it helped me a lot to heal, maybe faster than I would have on my own. I'm thinking. I did a lot of journaling on my own. I did not run from my emotions and feelings. I was sitting with them, meditating. I had a lot of bad days with a lot of hours that I just felt like in a slump, a lot of guilt because I ended the relationship. And for those of you that ended the relationship in the past, you know that there is a guilt associated with that. And of course, doubt, because you're leaving something that it was working, but it was not like abusive or anything like that. So it was working, but it was just not what I pictured for a future for myself. It didn't excite me when I pictured it in the future. And I knew I want something different. But then you're leaving something that is kind of working for something that, what it is, you don't know. Are you ever going to meet someone at age 50? Are you going to meet someone and then develop the feelings that you had for this person that you're now leaving? Are they going to be half as good? And you kind of don't think like, yeah, everything is gonna work out. I have the whole life in front of me. So just like leave this person and then just, go in the dark and look for someone in the unknown. And the unknown is very scary. And my personality, I don't really think a lot about things. I just jump and then I'm like, do I have a parachute? That's my whole philosophy in life. It served me really well, but not many times. Not like many times it did not serve me well. So it was very difficult to break it up, but I just knew my standards were different, my values, and I needed, and I felt like I'm letting myself down. And when you start letting yourself down time and time again, you just start to view yourself not as a less of a person, but your self-esteem suffers. I mean, for me personally, I just felt like it did suffer, like the way I looked at myself. I didn't look anymore at myself as this strong person that matches actions with words. I found myself like in front of friends, kept saying everything is fine and just pretending. And this is absolutely not who I am. So I kept letting myself down and I didn't want to continue to do that. So I said to myself, the unknown is very, very scary at age 50. However, just exactly for that reason that at age 50, I can't invest more time hoping that things will be better. And there was not really like none of us to change. Like if one of us had to change, that would have been settling. And I mean, not settling, but we had to change. And I didn't want to change myself because I like who I am. And I didn't want to ask him to change because that's who he is. And at this age anyways, how can we really change? I mean, seriously, you need a lot of therapy and self-awareness. It's a hard work. And of course it happens, but it takes a long time. And with us was just different values. So it's not, it was not a matter of change, but if I stayed, it would have been settling. And there's a borderline between settling and adjusting, because you gotta adjust in a relationship, but there's a line between adjusting and settling. So I felt like I kept crossing to the settling line and I just didn't want to do that anymore. So I said to myself, I rather go to the unknown and be alone, because let's face it, I'm happy and content. Of course, life is better in a relationship. My life is better in a relationship, but I want to be in a happy relationship. So I rather go with the unknown and risk not meeting anyone rather than stay and settle. and let myself down and waste more time, because down the road I would have ended it anyways, but it would have been like 3-4 years maybe, and then at age 55 would have been even scarier to leave, and then I'll be telling myself probably, oh, I already invested 4 years, I'm already like 54, who am I gonna find now? No, I'm just gonna stay. Maybe I'm not happy, but I'm with someone. I didn't want to do that because that's not how I think. And I always think I'd rather be alone. So I worked through my emotions for a long time. Well, not long time. I mean, I don't want to give a timeline because I don't think timelines work for each person the same. They're very, very different. And I just had the time, and I gave myself the time, the space to really work through my emotions, to get in touch with them, and finally to learn the lessons from the past relationship, which was very scary because, I mean, not scary, but hard, because all you want to do is blame the other person. But there was no one to blame. I just knew that I had to find the lessons, and I did. And I used it as a growing experience. And I said, okay, these are the lessons that I need to work through, because in a relationship, you have triggers and all that. And I'm going to take this and bring it to the next relationship, the lessons that I've learned. But I cannot heal on my own. I need to be in a relationship, be triggered, and then heal those triggers, examine them and heal. So I was ready to move on and to start dating. So I signed up again I use eHarmony and Match, and I went on a few dates, and you know what? It was scary. It was not really scary. I mean, I have friends that kept saying, oh my gosh, there's no one out there. Who you gonna find? Like, all these guys are so weird. And that is not how I think, because for me, this is scarcity mentality. You're thinking out of fear that there is no one on earth. I mean, come on, we're 7 billion people. I live in New York City. And if something's meant to be, it will be. I just didn't subscribe to that kind of thinking. I always thought, there's so many people out there. I know there's someone for me. And let's face it, the right person, it's a right person only if two people choose each other. So if we didn't choose each other with this other person, we were not right for each other. So no need to overthink, gotta move on. And well, I'm saying this now with a light hand, but before I was not able to say that. So if you are in the middle of a breakup or afterwards, my heart goes to you. It's one of the most painful things that you could ever experience, no matter how many feelings were involved. But my suggestion would be to sit with your emotions and feelings and not jump right into dating. So I signed up for the apps and I went on a few dates. I met really, really fun people. A friend that suggested to me, like, just don't go and think about dating and finding the one and all these things. Just go and have fun. Have dinner, go to a movie, a theater, a museum, or whatever. Just have fun. Don't expect absolutely anything. And that's what I did. I just went to have fun, and I did. I met really cool people. With the ones that I didn't feel any connection, I just messaged them, really great to meet you. I had a lot of fun, but it's not the connection that I'm looking for the next chapter of my life. And that's it. No need to explain more. And wishing you well, and so on. And then I met someone else, and I really liked him. He liked me. He messaged right away, and we started meeting. And in the beginning was a little hard because I kept thinking of this other person and feeling guilty. Am I moving on too fast and all that? But I don't think there's timeline that works for everyone the same. And I felt ready, and I developed feelings for this new person. And we've been seeing each other for 2 months, and things are really, really great. So I cannot stress enough, for me, the most important thing was to approach dating with just like being light and have fun and not expect to meet the right person. Of course, we all go on dates to meet the right person, and it's disappointing when you don't, but just approach it like, okay, I'm going for a dinner just to meet a human and have a fun conversation. And if it's not a fun conversation, leave. I left from a date, like we went to this place, we ordered a drink. I just like saw the conversation wasn't going anywhere. So I said, you know what? I actually have to meet someone afterwards. So, it was great meeting you. And then I left. You don't have to sit if you don't want to sit. But maybe the first time you just grab a coffee, that it's not really a high pressure or anything, and you can always leave quickly, go for 30 minutes, and that's that. So this is what worked for me. I now am in this relationship, but I know I'm not going to be waiting 14 months if things I feel are not going in the right direction, meaning if we don't want the same things in life, if we don't see future together, if we don't agree on the major things in life, I would not be spending, I'm not sure, maybe 6 months. I can't say really a deadline, but probably absolutely not more than a year. I think even before a year, you already know, like if you had these conversations, which I always do, like this conversations about what I want, I'm very vocal from day one. I know for me, and that doesn't have to be truth for you, but I felt at the point, like in that previous relationship, that I wasted maybe tag a little more time than I needed to, because already by the 6th month, I knew we differ on major things, but it took me 8 more months to break it. I just wished it worked, and you keep going. So in this relationship, from the very beginning, I said what I want, why I'm dating, and where I see myself in the future. And I speak about this with excitement. I'm not pushing the other person. I'm not telling them they have to want what I want. I'm just very clear on what I want, because this is what I want. And if that's not what the other person wants, I'm not going to invest emotions and time, because sooner or later we're going to break up and it's going to be harder. So I talk about the difficult things from the very beginning. That doesn't have to be you. That is me. I'm very direct and honest. And of course, some things there's no way for you to know, but for things that are life goals, like direction, although those things change, of course. Okay, I'll give you an example. One of the people that I met, and we had really good time, and he was a nice person, but he kept talking about a cottage in Wisconsin, close to Wisconsin, where he grew up, and he goes there every single summer, every vacation he gets, and then his dream is to retire there. Now that's very specific. I'm from Bulgaria. I live in New York City. So my dream, it's not Wisconsin. And my summer vacations are in Bulgaria because I have to see my family. So I already knew this, there's no point of developing further. So I'm talking about this kind of major things. And I think at that age, we already have an idea, 50, 55, 60, you already have an idea. What do you want? What are your goals? It's very different when you're 20. So for me, it's very important to talk about things like very, very early on, before I'm intimate with this person. I actually wait a long time for the intimacy, because I don't want to involve emotions and feelings early on that would complicate things. So, but maybe that's another video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue talking about this and my experience, more in details. But this is for now, because this is getting to be a really long video. So this is for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm planning to do a lot more of these personal videos and just my experience in life over 50. Subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.